at, and it's something that Brad and I are talking about right now. But we're not in a hurry either. You know, we find the right guy that helps us for competition, then for camp, then we'll do that.
Yeah, there used to be a thinking back in the day that kickers needed to give you everything inside of 45 or everything inside of 40 and be almost automatic from there, and then the long stuff was, you know, icing on the cake. Is there still that belief among coaches that there's a certain distance that you really gotta nail that high percentage before you even worry about the long stuff?
Yeah, I mean, I think so. I think really, you just look at the numbers. You want to know, you know, you want to know that percentage is very high. And where is that at? That could be you got to get inside the 40. It could be you got to get inside the 35, and then until that point, don't ask them to do it until you have to. You absolutely have to. So. Now, that being said, if you told me, yeah, hey, man, we're at the 40 and this guy is golden, you know, we're talking about a very high percentage, well above the average, then that's a great thing to have, right? Everybody wants the leg with accuracy. But what you find out is that's not always the case. You know, once you start getting into the high 40s, these, you know, it just is not... You know, the percentages go down significantly than it does the mid and low 40s.
How much does that change your thought process for your aggressiveness as far as all, there's a lot of calculus involved, just, you know, go for it, or if this dude's good from, you know, he's automatic for 50 or whatever, how much does that change your aggressiveness necessarily?
Well, I think it's, honestly, I view it no different than I do any other position or any other part of this team, offense, defense, special. Man, let's ask our guys to do what they do well and put them in position to have success. And the kicker is no different. So that's how I view it. You know, some of that does come down to, you know, you're at the 40-yard line and, you know, you got a 58-yard kick. And you've gauged him, you've seen how he's kicked. You also know it's a long one, or it's 4th and 2, you know. You want your offense to go, do we like the play? Do we like the matchup? What are they running on defense? You know, are we gonna have a chance to get the one-on-one that we want offensively? And so I think all that comes into play. But it can have an effect. It will have an effect. It will.
Is it hard, I mean, basically, is it hard to turn down automatic points if you think the guy is like pretty much dialed in at about 50?
Not necessarily, you know, only because there's still that you can get 4 more. You can squeeze 4 more out of that drive potentially, depending on where you're at. And so I think you know, the automatic points, it's, I think it could be more, you know, is it 4th and 4? Is it, you know, how far is this 4th down, you know? And so I think, to answer your question, I know I'm kind of, I want to put our kicker in the best position to have success to help us, you know? Otherwise, if it doesn't work out, that's on me, you know, and that bothers me. You know, I don't want it to be that case because it's kind of not fair to them either. I mean, we do it for the quarterback, we do it for, you know, we'll do it for offensive line, we do it for the backs, we do it for receivers, we do it for the nickel, the safety. And then it's not fair to not do it for your kicker too. I know he's got a job, he's got a task, so do all those guys. And I mean, it's like we got 2 of the best tackles in this league, and it's like, well, they have to block one-on-one. That's what they do. That's what they get paid. Yeah, but every once in a while, it'd be nice to nudge over there. You know, it's not fair to go 65 plays and not give them help every once in a while to give them a breather. So, anyway.
I'm sorry, I'm not trying to get into dominate the kicking thing. Just with Nate, you know, not having kicked in college or field goals at least, I mean, how much of a concern is that? I mean, are you willing to roll the dice on that? And just, I know he's done it in the UFL, but just, you know, the body of work maybe isn't quite what it typically is for a kicker that's going to be your guy day in, day out, big time, big pressure, all that kind of stuff.
Well, I think we got to put him in as many, I guess, pressure situations as we can in camp, you know. And he has kicked in games. I know it's not the same thing, but a little bit of it. The only way you're going to know is you got to put him out there and you got to see how he does. And And that'll come. I mean, look, right now he looks pretty good, and it's early, but he has a big leg. And I like his personality, his aura. I mean, he's got some confidence about him, which is nice. He seems pretty consistent about the way he goes about his business, kind of the same guy every day, which I appreciate. So we'll just see. We'll keep working him through practice and see where this goes. Hold on a minute. Go ahead.
What have you seen so far from Terry and Arnold and Rakestraw? And I know it's early, but can you see them fitting in?
Yeah, well, I would tell you, and there again, when I say this, okay, careful, it's, I see improvement from the spring, which is great. That means they retained what we were doing in the spring, and here we are 2 days into training camp, and man, some of those lessons they've learned, and it's already showing up. This is their second chance to get through the install. They got it in the spring, and now here we go. And so, man, they retained some of those coaching points and improved on them. And so I like both of those guys. I love the fact that Arnold would get up there and challenge, big, physical, pretty smart guy. Just, time on task. He's got to learn. And Rakestraw's the same way. Rakestraw's pretty instinctive. He got our one takeaway yesterday, got a ball on the ground, which is great. So, look, those guys are a work in progress, but after 2 days and a spring, we like where they're at.
What is the biggest change you've noticed in Hendon since the spring?
Yeah, he's another guy, I would say, coming back, you wanted to feel like he retained what we did, and there was just you felt like he just took one little step forward, and all right, we're not back to, here's the read, you should have thrown this here, should have checked it down, should have launched the post, and man, he's done some things that are good, that are really good. It's like, okay, you feel just a little bit of growth, which is what we wanted to feel. So taking command of the huddle and some of his decision-making has been good. The accuracy's been better after 2 days. Now, he's like anybody else. He's got things to clean up. But, yeah, we were certainly not disappointed after 2 days.
Just having Nate on the roster just give you a little bit more confidence that you don't have to push it with Hendon. You can let that kind of organically develop the way it should.
Yeah, and look, that's a competition. It is, and we like both of those guys, but there is a reason Nate's here. Nate has played before. He's got a lot of experience, and that's what he's got. He's got more years and a little bit more experience certainly than Hooker does. But this is a competition. I mean, at the end of the day, both of those guys are going to roll between the 2s and 3s. And by the time we get to end of camp, we need to know who our 2 is. And we're not going to have our 2 be somebody we don't trust in the moment.
Do you notice a little bit of a different swag in the defensive backfield? It just seems like you can feel it out there the last couple of days, the way they're talking and kind of carry themselves, especially maybe with Davis also.
I would agree with that. Yeah, I would agree with that. There is, but we've injected a lot more personalities and ability into that room. I mean, it's been really a total transformation, if you will. Obviously getting Carlton and Amik, and then Rake and Arnold. So there's and then we got E-Man back. So yeah, there is certainly another level of confidence in that room. That I feel like those guys are feeding off each other, and you can feel it defensively too. I think it's a little bit all-encompassing, man. I feel our defense is, the confidence is up. I think we know what we can become. Between that and just, man, our D-line, some of these things we're fighting, straining to get off blocks, violent separation. There's an attitude that comes with playing defense, and every good defense, you got to have that. There's got to be an aura about it. There's got to be you got to have something, and you can kind of feel that right now.
Thanks, guys.